Okay, so let's get all the ingredients into our roasting pan here. I'm going to start off with just giving the pan a little bit of olive oil before adding the tomatoes. So as you can see, I have quite a variety here of cherries, aromas, and some other small tomatoes. So I'm just going to use all of them here. There's approximately about 6 to 7 cups of tomatoes here. It's going to fill this roasting pan pretty good. Some of these larger tomatoes I'll just cut off the stem and cut them in half just so that they break down a little bit faster. If any of your tomatoes have any little spots you want to remove, you can just cut them off now. So the Roma tomatoes are probably your best ones for making a tomato sauce normally because they have the least amount of liquid in them. But what we're going to do here is we're going to cook these down in the oven, hopefully in about 2 hours, and reduce a lot of that liquid so you still end up with a nice thick tomato sauce. Okay, so now we're going to season up these tomatoes. First of all, though, I'm going to just add another good pour of the olive oil. That way all the seasonings will stick to them a little bit better. So this here is a herb salt that I made with a bunch of my dried herbs and salt in the dehydrator. So I thought that would be a good seasoning to add to these tomatoes. So I'm going to put a couple teaspoons of my herb salt on here. And a good friend of mine who is Italian and a wonderful chef told me that adding a little bit of sugar to your tomato sauce is always a good idea to kind of cut down on the acidity. So I'm going to just sprinkle in another couple teaspoons of white sugar. Some fresh ground pepper. Now it's time to add some of my herbs. So what I'm going to be putting in here today is some fresh oregano. I have some dried basil that I picked fresh and just dried about a week or two ago. And I also have some fresh parsley that I just picked and washed from my garden. And also I'm going to be adding some of these sweet peppers. So these are a sweet Italian frying pepper. So I'll be chopping up a few more of those, and I also wanted to add a little spice to my sauce. So I'm going to be adding a couple of the peppers that I've grown this year. This is the Portugal pepper, and this is called the Aurora pepper. So it's optional whether you want any heat in your tomato sauce, but I'm going to add a few of these to mine. So now that we have all the herbs and peppers in here, I'm just going to mix it up real good. So the last thing that I'm going to add into my tomatoes here is my onions and garlic. Again, these are right from my garden. Just chopped them up into fairly big chunks, and I'm going to just spread them on top of the tomatoes for now. I'm not going to mix them in. These are going to be going into the oven, a 400-degree oven. So I want these onions and garlic to kind of caramelize that first half hour or so that they're in the oven, and then I will mix them in once we check on them after about 30 minutes. So there we have it. It's all ready to go into the oven. It smells just amazing. So let's get cooking these tomatoes. So we will be putting these in a 400-degree oven right now, and I'm going to check on them about every 30 minutes. Give them a stir. Okay, so here's what our tomatoes look like after the first 30 minutes. And you can see there's a lot of liquid in there. So you can see here with the onions and the garlic, they're getting a little brown. So I think that extra browning of the onions and the garlic will really add a lot of flavor to this. So I'm just gonna give everything a little stir. We'll put it back in the oven and check back in another 30 minutes. So here's how it looks after 2 hours at 400 degrees. You can see a lot of the liquid has reduced. There's some really nice brown skins here on these tomatoes. I think that's going to add a lot of flavor to this. So after you've let it cool for about 30 minutes, you can puree it using a hand blender, food processor. I'm going to use my NutriBullet to puree it up. So I'm really happy with how this sauce turned out. It's nice and thick. It tastes great. And when I put it into my NutriBullet, I just pureed it for about 20 to 30 seconds, and it was ready to bag up into my freezer bags. So I hope you will give this super easy, no peel, oven roasted tomato sauce recipe a try. If you enjoyed watching my video, I hope you will hit the like button. Please leave me a comment and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more videos coming to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.